Why haven't you heard of this before? This method of vision improvement? Well, there are a lot of books out there. There's a whole bunch of them in print right now. A lot of them I haven't even read. I've got a page on my website, recommended books. It's on the resources menu, recommended books, and a bunch of them are listed there. So, I mean, you can find them. They're out there. Those are the ones I've read. A lot of them. I mean, I've read a lot more. It's those are the ones actually people are. See what they do. Those links I got them on there. They go to Amazon, and I get a few cents, literally like a few cents out of those. Sometimes a little bit more, less than $1, I think, on all of them, all the books. I don't know, but it's not much. But what I've done is kind of ordered them in order of which ones people actually buy. So there's some other ones I have read I don't list on that list anymore. I don't know. Maybe I should just list all of them. But at least, these are the ones that people are buying. At least they'll read something. I guess it's kind of a natural way of, instead of like my favorite books, it's a good way of kind of figuring out determining which ones are actually the most popular that people will read. So maybe which ones are actually the best books in a certain way. But a bunch of them are listed there anyway. And then there's a whole bunch more that are out of print over the last 100 years. I mean, it started, with Perfect Sight Without Glasses in 1920. I think he actually had, in fact, I know he had a version before that, before 1920, co-wrote with another guy. But anyway, the last 100 years, there's been a ton of books out there. They're just, they're not at the top of the bestsellers list. Then there's a lot of websites out there now. It used to be, of course, there weren't a ton of websites, but there's new ones popping up all the time. And I mean, you search for vision improvement. If you go to I think it's on the resources menu again, there's a link to Visions of Joy, Esther's a website there. She's got a ton of stuff, and it goes to the links page on her website. So anything you can find there pretty much is good stuff. And she's got a lot of links there. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there if you're actually really looking for it. But if you haven't encountered it before, you haven't been looking for it. Of course, you can find a lot of vision improvement stuff. You do Google searches, it's pretty obvious. It's just internet marketers who put together these packages. They're not really that into the subject. They haven't had really experience with it. And then there's a lot of teachers who just go around. A lot of them have websites too, just individual people who teach vision improvement, and they'll go around, they'll go around the country, they'll teach private classes, or private sessions, or do classes, workshops, things like that. And there's a conference I think they do it every year. I went to a couple of them actually years ago when I was new at this. But there's conferences, and they do it, I think, every 2 years now. I don't know. I haven't kept up with it anymore. But they're held in some place around the U.S. or the world or something, and they got all kinds of people there. You can meet with them and get all kinds of perspectives. And you know what? A lot of the books and a lot of the programs you can find out there, it's like a lot of them are different. They're not just repeats of each other. You can kind of gain something from a lot of different ones. And so, again, there's a lot of information out there, stuff that's been added and modified. A lot of people have different perspectives, different styles. And so, over the last 100 years, you can just find a lot of different stuff. But you might be thinking, why didn't my eye doctor tell me about this? Well, the main answer is they really weren't taught about it. That's not the approach that they're taught. Particularly, optometrists are taught really just how to prescribe glasses, a lot of optics stuff, a lot of very complex, a lot of useful stuff. And people want glasses. That's the service that they provide. If you look at the doctors or professors who teach these classes in optometry school, or to the doctors, to the medical doctors who are trained to be ophthalmologists, this type of stuff is not really. Maybe one day it'll be brought up in the "Don't believe any of this other stuff" lecture. This is all. Here's the fringe stuff that we should warn you about. And it's too bad that that's the attitude. It's just their worldview. That's how they see health. That's how they see
the human body. And but it's too bad that the science is supposed to be this ever-changing process where it's understood that everything is a theory with varying levels of confidence, but everything's a theory. And new theories are fully explored with curiosity and objectivity, somewhat. And then when appropriate, the new theories will replace the old ones when they fit the facts better. But in practice, that's not really the way it works. You know, the doctors and professors and textbook authors, you think about that, and they have a hard time admitting that what they taught last year, I mean, what have they been teaching all these years? If it's, you know, were they wrong before? And they say, oh, you know, forget all that. I've changed my mind, or we discovered new things. It doesn't make for a very good reputation, a very good course as far as being consistent. Of course, it would be easier to do if they admitted all along that these are the best ideas out there. This is what we're teaching as far as we know. It makes sense in this way, and none of this should be taken as the absolute truth. But you know what? That's how they teach it. They say, you know what? This is the truth. This is the way it is. We know all this stuff, and this is the only way to look at it. They're in that habit of presenting everything, all the material, as established fact and not theories in the spirit of true science. So you end up missing out on it. That's what happens. And you can't totally blame them. I mean, you just look at the medical establishment in general, say like emergency rooms. They do a ton of good. I mean, they save people's lives daily. What they're doing works. They're really good at emergency medicine, stopping bleeding, setting broken bones, all that kind of stuff. And it takes a lot of skill, a lot of knowledge to be able to do that kind of stuff effectively. But, you know, on the other hand, when it comes to long-term care, what's best for the person, holistically, if you don't mind me using that word, they don't do so well. And so the same type of question can be asked of any type of alternative approach to health. Like, why haven't I heard of this before? And, well, it's the same answer. And another question is, why are there these alternative health practices to begin with? I mean, why are they out there when we already have our conventional medicine that works? Well, people have gotten bad results from conventional. I mean, look at the epidemic of myopia in this country and in other countries. It's just gotten worse. Every few years, it seems like it goes up, and there's no justifiable reason for that or why it has to be like that. And it just points to the fact that they are treating this problem all wrong. And so you might not have heard about this stuff before, but hey, now you have. So now you can go ahead and join the Facebook group, and we got a forum. Join the community and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'll have more videos coming up soon. If you have any suggestions on things that you want me to talk about, I love ideas. And actually, usually what'll happen is I'll read something, on Facebook or the forum or somewhere else, and I'll get to thinking about it, and I'll start talking to myself. Then at some point I'll be like, you know what? I think I have enough material here to rant about this on YouTube for a few minutes. So here we are. So hey, subscribe to the channel, keep up with all the videos, and I will talk to you again soon.